Thomas is walking down an alley and he suddenly hears a cry of the baby. He turns towards the direction from where the voice was coming and reaches a deserted place. He then witnesses that the voice is coming from something underneath the blanket. The cry goes on increasing as he nears the corner of that place. He hesitantly removes the blanket and is shocked to see that there is no baby. Thomas is now all the more anxious to see a gramophone in place of the baby. He then finds an envelope underneath the gramophone. He picks it up as quickly as possible and escalates away from the deserted place. He then reaches his home petrified. He tries to put himself to sleep but is unsuccessful doing so. Thomas hesitantly opens the envelope and is astonished to see a map along with a letter. What then surprises him further is that the map comprises of 3 destinations and a letter which states that he would find the infant whose crying noises were heard through the gramophone on reaching the 3rd destination. However, the baby would only be saved if he reaches the 3rd destination. There is an indicator in the form of a slip at each stage which showcases hints to the next stage. The first stop is the museum in accordance with the map. As soon as he enters the museum, he tries to find the slip of paper. He looks around as he traverses through the museum and finally finds it enclosed in a drawer. The task now is to find the painting of a woman whose face is not visible. He finds many such portraits of women where a side profile is visible and front profile is partially visible or is colored vibrantly. He then notices a portrait where only the back profile of the woman is seen and he is somehow attracted towards it. He then approaches the portrait and is astounded and excited to find a hint for the next stage, which speaks about finding the point of origin. Thomas is now confused regarding what a point of origin could indicate. He had heard about point of origin only during his school days. He is now 27 years old and can't remember a thing about it. As he walks down the pavement, he comes across 2 roads originating from the same point and then diverting. He then wonders if this could possibly indicate a point of origin. Thomas thinks of a major junction in the city which could possibly indicate the point of origin. He then quickly moves towards the circle where there is a statue of a mermaid. Thomas looks around everywhere in despair to find a clue that would guide him for the next stage. He then finds a miniature wooden sculpture of a mermaid aside the statue. He is now bewildered and checks if he can make some sense out of the wooden sculpture. Thomas searches further and finally loses hope and sits down at the circle. As he looks at the wooden sculpture, he surprisingly finds letters written on them with instructions to reach the forest. He then moves in accordance with the directions and now finds himself in the middle of a forest. There are red indicators on a few trees and it looks like a maze. He finds himself injured as he tries to cross multiple hurdles and swim through the rivers. He can finally hear the cry of the baby at a distance. He rushes through multiple thorns, shrubs, and bamboo trees and runs towards where he can hear the cry of the baby increasing. Thomas is now exhilarated to finally find the baby in the middle of a pond in a basket. He slowly moves towards the baby and picks it up gently from the basket. He notices that there is a locket on the baby's neck, which he tries to unlock, and is then startled to find the picture of his lover. Thomas holds the baby close to his heart and starts crying. He is now very disheartened and devastated and looks through the entire forest with the baby in his hand for Emma, his lover. He recollects the moments they've spent together from their first meet at a cafe to when they separated as she moved to her city, which he had no insight about. With a heavy heart, he goes back to the cafe where he first met her. He recollects their first meeting where her phone was out of battery and she had requested him for his phone to make a call. He sits there for over an hour. As he is about to leave, he hears a familiar voice of a woman asking the bartender, "My phone is out of battery. Can I make a call?" He looks back and is overwhelmed to look at Emma with her big bright eyes and flowy hair and an attire which she carried so gracefully. He politely says, "Here, you can use mine."